A Streetcar Named Desire, Scene 11. So in this scene, here's your basic summary. It's been several weeks after the rape. There's another poker game going on. Blanche is taking a bath. Stella's finding herself in a really difficult position. She's agreed to send Blanche to a mental asylum, but she's questioning this decision. While she does that and the men play poker, Blanche is bathing and talking about Shep Huntley. When the nurse and the doctor arrive, Blanche goes a little bonkers. She yells, she struggles, and she begins to hear echoes and whispers off the walls. And finally, she's subdued by the human kindness of the doctor and follows him out looking back, leaving Stella to cry on the front porch with her baby in her arms, and Stanley continuing to act like Stanley. Now, bathing in this scene, like so many of the scenes, is symbolic. The sound of water can be heard running from the bathroom, and throughout the play, Blanche has frequented the bathroom as a place of refuge. When she needs a place to cry, wash up, be alone, she goes and takes a bath. However, the bathing in this scene is different. This is a cleansing bath. She's trying to wash away Stanley's rape. Additionally, Blanche believes that Shep Huntley's coming to take her away from this whole thing, and she really believes that he is coming for her. So in her mind, not only is she washing away the presence of Stanley, but she's preparing herself to leave with Shep. The extent of her insanity is pretty obvious. Shep is not coming. He's not responded to her letters, her phone calls. This is all a figment in her imagination. Clearly, the rape has been incredibly traumatic, and it has left her quite disturbed, quite strained. Her mental state was weak in the very beginning of this play. Let's be honest. Blanche is a little bit crazy to begin with. And then this rape it absolutely shatters who she is. And she has retreated into her make-believe world where she thinks she's going on a vacation with Shep Huntley. And Stella says they're just going to let her believe this. And I really want you to think about for tomorrow, do you agree with this? Should you let someone just believe something that makes them happy? And Blanche even says, if anyone calls while I'm bathing, take the number and I'll call them right back. This really further supports her insanity, that she really is completely losing her mind. And she's making these kind of strange, ungrounded, bizarre comments throughout the scene. And Mitch is really unnerved by this. He's actually sagging. He's right on the verge of tears. I read this as he's aware that he has played a role in Blanche's breakdown, that he is not innocent in all of this. And the whole time, this whole scene, the polka is playing constantly throughout the scene. And this again reminds us of the night that Alan Gray died. This is a signal of Blanche's insanity. And as the scene comes to a close, these vivid reflections appear on the walls. The sound of the polka is louder. It's a very disturbing moment, and she seizes the back of the chair as if to defend herself. In this moment, Blanche is completely lost to the real world. She's so far gone. Of course, the play ends with the line of, this game is 7-card stud. And Williams does this purposely. At the end of the scene, the end of the play, we go back to the poker night, that Blanche is carted away and everything is just the same as it was before. No one has changed except for Blanche and maybe Stella. I think it's interesting why Williams chose 7-card stud. You can pause the video here and kind of read about why 7-card stud rather than 5-card stud. It's an interesting commentary. Again, we've talked throughout this play about illusions and reality, and Blanche has been consistently the character most strongly associated with this theme because she doesn't face the truth. She tries to distort it in her favor. She is a liar. However, in this scene, Stella also has to deal with the problems of illusions and reality. Here we go. In the end, we're left with Stella, who is trapped in a fantasy now of her own world. She is going to put the rape out of her mind. She's going to forget about everything that happened with Blanche because, as Eunice says, no matter what happens, you've got to keep on going. Eunice advises her just to live in a fantasy world. Well, but isn't that what Blanche has always done? Isn't that what has led to Blanche's downfall? And maybe we're supposed to feel some sympathy towards Stella because it turns out she's trapped just like Blanche is, but I hold Stella responsible for in the end what happens, her own fate. I want you to think about that. Who is to blame here for Blanche and for Stella? Now, this famous line, oh my gosh, this line is so famous. Whoever you are, I've always depended on the kindness of strangers. And Blanche's famous line is full of irony. It's true that Blanche has often depended on the kindness of strangers, especially men, but all of them have abused her, abandoned her, have hurt her. In the end, even her own sister betrays her. And so her inability to defend herself, to protect herself, brings her to madness. Therefore, the doctor escorting Blanche out of the house, he's taking her to the asylum. She sees kindness in his face. And Blanche gets strength from his kindness, from his kind eyes. She willingly walks out of the house with him that she couldn't walk out before on her own, but as long as he's with her, this kind stranger, she can do it. She can do anything on her own. Personally, I hope that the doctor is a stranger who will help Blanche. I hope that she gets the support and encouragement she needs. I don't know. There are a few symbols that Williams brings up only in this scene, the first one being the sea. Blanche makes this very odd comment about dying on the sea and dying of an unwashed grape with her hand in the hand of some nice-looking doctor. Notice another man here, that she's depending upon a man. I read this as the sea, due to its size, has kind of connotations of grandness, power, vastness. And in this context, it could be interpreted as Blanche's final liberation. In her mind, she's going to go live on the sea. She's going to be free. And this definitely correlates with the motif of death. That this is like almost the sense of release for Blanche. If she can see herself on the sea, she's free. It's definitely a crazy thought, but it brings her some kind of peace. She also mentions the color of her dress is Della Robbia blue, which is the blue in the old Madonna pictures. And this religious imagery doesn't come up anywhere else in the play. It's only in this final scene. And there's a slight irony that the cathedral chimes are heard in the last scene, especially when so many unpleasant truths have been revealed. She actually says those bells are the only clean thing in the quarter, and she's right, that these relationships, these people are dirty and broken. And Williams leaving us, I think, with these two religious images to make us really question purity and holiness and beauty. That in a place that's considered so famous, so beautiful, New Orleans, is it really beautiful? Is there anything clean or pure there? Overall, it is the final scene of the play. That makes it important just because of where it's located. But in this scene, major themes are reemphasized, as well as some of the major motifs. But it's most significant because it becomes evident that there's no romantic hero in this play. There's no Shep Huntley coming in to sweep Blanche off her feet. There's no one, rescuing her in the end. Blanche, the anti-hero, is broken. There's only victims, perpetrators, and people struggling to live. And it's really almost kind of a sad commentary, and I think Williams is criticizing human nature. Stanley's final act of raping Blanche seems to demonstrate that people are inherently cruel. That Stella, even though she knows her husband is a rapist, chooses her husband over her sister. That people hurt each other. And he also is illustrating this gray truth of reality, Williams is, in that there's maybe not a clear distinction between right and wrong. What should Stella do? What should Blanche do? Yes, Blanche is a liar, but she lies because it makes her feel better. Yes, Stella chooses her husband, but the 1940s, where is she going to go as a single mother? It's not an uplifting ending. But the message here is that life continues on. Life will always continue on, as shown by the commencement of the 7 card stud game.